it is important we look at the support for LGBT plus people. Numerous people, whether lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and those questioning their sexuality, have difficult experiences when they reveal their sexual orientation or identity, but there is support available. Offering support to LGBT plus groups, clubs, and many different organisations in their efforts to help parents and families understand and accept. Useful definitions taken from glaad.org are bisexual, physically, romantically and/or emotionally attracted to men and women. Coming out, people forge a lesbian, gay, bisexual or transgender identity first to themselves and then may reveal it to others. Publicly identifying one's orientation may or may not be part of coming out. Gay, used to refer to a male or female whose sexual orientation is attraction to persons of the same sex and/or gender. Lesbian, a woman whose enduring physical, romantic, and/or emotional attraction is to other women. Heterosexual, used to describe people whose enduring physical, romantic, and/or emotional attraction is to people of the opposite sex, also known as straight. Homophobia, used to refer to a range of negative attitudes and feelings towards lesbian, gay, and in some cases bisexual transgender people. Homosexual, outdated clinical term considered derogatory and offensive by many gay and lesbian people. Transgender, term for people whose gender identity differs from what is typically associated with the sex they were assigned at birth. Transsexual, appearing as, wishing to be considered as, or having undergone surgery to become a member of the opposite sex. Plus, is an inclusive way to represent all the other groups of sexual and gender expressions outside of traditional norms, including non-binary, intersex, and those questioning their gender identity or sexual orientation. It is vitally important that adults get support and have opportunities to discuss issues in what can be a difficult time in their life. Understanding and supportive family members as well as additional peers, groups, etc. is critical. Despite some of the potential challenges, it is important to remember that for many young lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people, it can also be a very exciting stage in their lives. Many vulnerable adults will generally know that they are lesbian, gay, bisexual, or question their sexuality or gender identity from a young age. A large number don't tell anyone until they are older. This is mainly because they are scared and worried about others' perceptions of LGBT plus people. This gap between initial questioning of their identity and starting to accept it can leave a window of time when young vulnerable adults can suffer with low self-esteem, depression, isolation, etc. Changes in legislation over recent years has ensured that in many areas of life, such as education, health, the workplace, sport, and many other day-to-day activities, LGBT plus people should enjoy and can demand the same rights as everybody else. Despite the new laws, many people still hold grudges against anyone who is perceived as different and demonstrate discriminatory attitudes or behaviours. The changes to the law mean that groups have a responsibility to provide services and support all young people and vulnerable adults, including those who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. There are things that you can do to help make sure LGBT plus vulnerable adults feel included and valued in the group, as well as identifying and challenging homophobic bullying. Providing support for LGBT plus vulnerable adults. LGBT-specific services aim to improve outcomes for LGBT plus vulnerable adults and ensure that they receive the same entitlements and quality of service as any other service user in a safe environment. All settings should aim to provide an environment where LGBT plus vulnerable adults are free to just be themselves and to experience acceptance from other adults. Providing accessible and welcoming information for LGBT plus vulnerable adults embraces diversity and creates an environment where everyone should feel valued, and LGBT plus vulnerable adults have their needs fully considered without encountering prejudice or homophobia. Good practice for working with LGBT plus vulnerable adults. Many groups already work with a wide range of young vulnerable adults from different backgrounds and with different needs. Ensuring that their services more effectively meet the needs of LGBT plus vulnerable adults is another element of this. Considering and implementing the issues listed below will help your organisation work towards best practice and allow LGBT plus vulnerable adults to feel safe and supported in and by the services they use. The organisation treats everyone with respect and fully implements equal opportunities and tackles homophobia in the same way as racism, sexism, and other forms of discrimination. Anti-bullying policies consider LGBT plus issues and are visible within the group setting. The images the organisation presents and displays reflect LGBT plus diversity. Practices are open and inclusive and do not automatically assume that everyone is heterosexual. Mainstream services are available to everyone. Positive action is taken to attract a representative group of young people to attend. The service undertakes sensitive monitoring of sexuality. Staff have LGBT plus awareness training and understand the needs and vulnerabilities that LGBT vulnerable adults have. Staff teams reflect the diversity in the community in terms of sexuality, as well as race, gender, religion, ability, age, etc. There is knowledge within the organisation about the range of LGBT plus facilities and resources available, both nationally and in the local community. Helping carers. Vulnerable adults who are LGBT plus are more likely to be happy and positive about their sexual orientation or identity if their carers are there to support and understand their situation. Not every LGBT plus vulnerable adult will want their family to know about their sexual orientation or identity, and this will need to be managed carefully. When a vulnerable adult begins to question their identity or comes out, it can sometimes be a difficult time for family members. It is important to try and offer them support and signpost them onto other groups as and when required. Most family members are only concerned for the vulnerable adult's well-being and would find it difficult to think about their family member being bullied about their sexual orientation or identity. Family may be worried what impact this bullying will have on the vulnerable adult and their future life. Some carers struggle with the issues raised either due to their own beliefs, values, or ignorance, and it is important to try and maintain a balanced position when discussing the topic with them. Providing them with advice or information can be helpful. Where LGBT plus vulnerable adults experience a difficult relationship with their peers as a result of coming out, other adults or agencies that will offer support and listen to your needs could include other family members, GPs, local council services, care workers, specific LGBT plus services, helplines, clubs, etc. The Government Equalities Office released a policy paper on Tuesday, 3rd of July 2018 titled LGBT Action Plan 2018 – Improving the Lives of Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual and Transgender People. This can be found on the www.gov.uk website under Government Publications. The policy explains how the government will advance the rights of LGBT plus people, both at home and abroad, and improve the way that public services work for them. Their vision is for everyone, regardless of their sexual orientation, gender identity, or sex characteristics, to be able to live safe, happy, and healthy lives where they can be themselves without fear of discrimination. The government has allocated funding up until March 2020 to deliver the plan, and they will look to secure additional funding beyond March 2020 when departmental budgets are set later in Parliament. To help guide and deliver this plan, they will establish a new LGBT plus advisory panel for government.